Heyo, and welcome back to another video. And this one, what I wanted to talk about today was Yoshi P's response in regards to modding within Final Fantasy XIV. Now, essentially what this letter outlines is essentially you should only use mods for personal usage, which essentially delves into why Mare was cease and desisted, because it should only be used for personal use cases only, not so much that another player can see that you are using said mods, which is kind of understandable. And I think he does essentially go on to say that because, like, let's just say a player obtain something from grinding the hell out of the game and you just have it for free and from just not doing anything, that player might feel kind of crappy about it. Not everyone, of course, but just some people. And another example would be just using equipment from the mod shop rather than buying it yourself. That is another point that he does make, which honestly is kind of like legally not great, in that sense that you're getting content for free, or you're using that content for free rather than paying for it. So I think what he is saying is pretty reasonable, all things considered. Of course, he also says the most obvious thing: if you make mods that ruin the service, other people's experience, like stalking, for instance, like that mod that was taken down a couple of months ago, like you just shouldn't make that. And essentially, if you use mods like cheating, that just puts your rank to 99 without even playing the game. Obviously your account's gonna get banned, but you're generally like a piece of crap if you do end up doing that. Regardless, to say, there is something that I did want to point out, and that is when he goes on to talk about nude mods. So this, especially being a T for T game, it does put them at a liability risk where they might have to end up taking that picture down or that mod down potentially. More so, it is kind of with the timing, I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, with everything that's kind of essentially going on with Roblox and the billions of dollars that they have lost within that game for not taking their safety precautions seriously, is rather, yeah, I can kind of understand why they'd save their asses a bit and say that, because if they don't, that could really screw them in giving Square Enix / Final Fantasy XIV a bad rap that it has inappropriate content, thus potentially a group like Collective Shout contacting the payment processors under Square Enix and basically saying don't support this company, like what happened with Steam, which is a bit ridiculous. And especially with what happened with Roblox, and it losing billions of dollars with it not taking its safety precautions seriously, I could see very easily Square Enix getting screwed over in some way or form if they didn't enforce some type of TOS or legal action against individuals that were being a little too goony, if you will. And I think this is more so for people who are actively saying that I made this in Final Fantasy XIV, or putting like a Square Enix logo or a Final Fantasy XIV logo within that picture. Now, does this mean you have to remove the XIV from like your username on Twitter or something along those lines? Probably not. This just means, like, if you're actively promoting the fact that it's in Final Fantasy XIV, you just run the risk of being more legally liable and getting cease and desisted for that image. At least this is how I'm personally taking it. I could be completely wrong and full of shit, but I think I'm taking this right, okay? As for people who play with their mods solely, like, this really doesn't affect you, especially if you mainly play the game solo, like I do. It's more so you just have to rely on G-posing now, which does kind of stink in the sense if you wanted to show funny clips of your character doing a funny emotes. I won't be confirming or denying that I use mods, but one point I do want to bring up is why people are even pushed to using mods, as some people may think the glamour or the outfits within the game are very, very pixelated, even looking towards Endwalker's content, which is really disappointing, as again, like, you would expect the glamour within the game to be good enough where you're consistently playing with this game, and so it does the job, but Like, especially when you're trying to grind out golden saucer stuff as well. Why are the outfits so pixelated on stuff that people grind hours to unlock? It's something that I haven't quite understood, because you really don't see the full potential of that outfit until you're wearing it within, you know, the actual environment rather than the little portrait thing. But it just sucks because you could be wasting all this time getting an outfit that you're gonna think looks really, really good on your character, and it looks like crap. I wouldn't say the raid gear particularly looks like crap, like Shadowbringers. Like, you still see pixelation in 2B's outfit, but a lot of this content, and with how many armor sets that there are, it's going to take a while for this issue to be a non-issue anymore. But this would be a good way, Square Enix, to deter people from actually modding your game. Like, that is something that can be handled. Or why not add some of the outfits that are being added to Ever Crisis within Final Fantasy XIV? I think people would really love to have those outfits within the game, especially the Bahamut outfit gear. Or the Christmas gear, for instance. Really, any of those gear sets I think people would really appreciate. I obviously understand the game already has said Christmas outfits, etc., but like, adding any of these outfits, adding any of the outfits from any of your existing IPs currently would probably be a step in the right direction. I do know in certain regards, like to doing raids, like you get near equipment. I mean, even in the latest expansion, you literally get FF9 outfits, which is a really, really great step in the right direction. But the remake's not announced, so there isn't a lot of hype generating those things. So I'm not really understanding as to why you're really hesitant to adding other games outfits to your game. It's just rather confusing to me, being a longtime Final Fantasy fan and not seeing those outfits in. And sure, there is like the veteran ranks or whatever that you get, but those outfits also look really pixelated. So getting Final Fantasy VII Remake kind of collaboration going would be great too before part 3. But I'm just so confused as to why they just don't utilize some of these outfits that's already being made within other games. It's not to say that the glamour in Final Fantasy XIV is bad. I think some of it's sick. Even some of the Shadowbringers equipment that you just unlock by going into that DLC. Again, it's just a bit pixelated, but what I am getting at is the fact that you could be adding more outfits that you're already making in other games that exist. And that was my cat. He's frustrated too. And then we have the hair glamour. Don't even get me started. The hair has not been long enough, and I'm so sad that we do not have more long hair glamour within Final Fantasy XIV. God, so help me, why did we get this? This series is known for characters like Sephiroth and so many other characters with long hair. Seymour, for instance. But you can kind of get away with doing that hairstyle. But it's just my point that, like, I'm just shocked that there's not longer hair options yet within the game. As I think that'd be a cool addition eventually. Hair has been something that's been just weird for me within this game. So I ended up using, like, I believe one of the first few hairs that were added within the game, and then I eventually switched it up. But yeah, it just, you feel so limited, especially with hair within the game. So with that side tangent with the rants of the cosmetics within the game, I just kind of wanted to give perspective on that as to why some people may mod the game and feel kind of like that's the best way to represent their character within modding the game. But regardless to say, I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Were you pushed to modding because you felt like the glamour was really representing your character the way you wanted to? Or especially with the hair thing, like, why isn't there longer hair options? I'd like to know what you think in the comments down below. I feel just conflicted just because of the fact that I think mods are a good and bad thing. It really just depends on the creators of the said mods and the users of said mods. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.